If you are nervous either before going into a sales call or during the sales call, if you are unable to predict within the first 5-10 minutes of how this sales call is going to go, whether you're going to close or not, or number three, if you are constantly avoiding getting onto sales calls and you hate this actual sales part of your business, then chances are that you don't understand true connection. How do you establish true connection with your prospects? What is true connection with your prospects? When you can actually feel what they're feeling, and when you can literally see the thoughts running across their heads, so that you know where the call is going, where the meeting is going, whether you're going to close or not. And while this may not help you to actually increase your closing rates or anything like that, but this will give you a sense of emotional security, and you will not be constantly having these butterflies in the stomach. More importantly, you will love sales and you will truly be a master at this game. Okay, if you don't have sales, you do not have a business, regardless of how many ads you run, how many funnels you make, and all of this useless crap. Okay, so let's get into the three myths that are there around establishing true connection with your prospect, and what are the four things you can do so you establish that true connection. You can truly build your kind of reach into a prospect's heart and truly make good friends with them, so that they remember you. Even if they don't buy from you, they remember you for a long time to come. Okay, let's get started. So I'll just quickly go into the three myths that come from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, when people used to write sales books that are from the pre-internet era. Today, what has happened is attention span is very, very short, and you really want to come right to the point. The three old myths are commonality, congeniality, and compliments. So if you read any of these old time sales books, you will see, hey man, you need to establish commonality. So ask them about their wife and kids, or spouse and kids, and then say, okay, I also have kids, or something like that. That kind of commonality building is just a waste of time, and it looks manipulative in today's time, when pattern recognition is really, really strong in the mind of your prospect. Second thing is congeniality. Saying, hey, having all kinds of useless openers like, hey, how was your trip, how was the weather, I hope you had a good ride over to meet me. All of this stuff is not really required. And the third things are compliments, which is even more manipulative, which is complimenting people on their dress, or how they look, or their kids, or their house, or whatever it is. None of that stuff works. Today is the time of conciseness. What do I mean by conciseness? They are there to buy. Money is liquid, market is hot. They're looking for the right partner to buy from. You're looking for the sale. Everybody knows what's happening. So a salesperson who's trying to be unduly nice or congenial or giving compliments just sounds too tacky. Okay, conciseness is the name of the game. How do you really establish true connection? Let me open up my screen over here. The number one thing that you can do to establish true connection is by eliciting trigger factors. Okay, this is some stuff that I'm going to teach you, which is going to be difficult to implement. It's going to be easy to learn, but when you're in the frame, it's going to be difficult to implement, because you're going to be having to go over your comfort barrier in order to do these things. Connection is not built by being nice to people. Connection is built by being responsible for their result, whatever result they need, the health result, make money result, or whatever it is. And by being responsible means holding them accountable as well. Okay, so the first point you're going to do is by eliciting the true trigger factors that have brought them to you. Okay, if it's a make money situation where you're a financial consultant, something, or a business consultant, then they have a money related problem, or a deep seated emotional problem related to money. It could be a family problem related to money, which is driving them towards you to solve that problem. If they have a health problem, then there are deeper problems related to health that they have been unable to uncover, and you're going to elicit those trigger factors. I am a medical doctor by profession, and when I was training in medical school, our professors taught us that the symptom that the person comes with, that the patient comes with, is almost never the biggest problem that they have, and you'll have to uncover deeper symptoms that they're not willing to tell you upfront, and then you'll have to uncover the actual cause of the disease and then solve the root cause. Otherwise, you cannot be a good doctor. So the consultation has to be very, very detailed, and you really have to ask a lot of difficult questions. Same goes if you are a sales consultant. The symptom that they present with is almost never the number one symptom, because they're always hiding something consciously that they don't want to divulge. Second thing is that there is always a root cause that has caused that problem that they don't even know consciously or subconsciously. So whether it is stuff that they're hiding from you actively, or whether there is stuff that they're not aware about that only you can make them aware about, you will have to elicit trigger factors, and you will have to ask difficult questions. People who say, okay, I have this problem, I want to lose weight, and you go straight into the solution, well, you haven't elicited trigger factors, you don't have connection. Very simple. Okay, what is the second item over here? is you will have to challenge them on certain things. You'll have to challenge them on certain things. In my coaching business, a lot of people come to set up a side hustle. Hey man, I want to set up part-time income, or I want to give up my job one day. So when can I get started with business so that I can have some side income coming in, so I can give up my job? And I ask them, well, how much time do you want to give to your side hustle? And they'll say, oh, I can do about 2 hours a day, and then I can do weekend work and all that. And I tell them upfront, man, this is your idea about side hustle wrong. I cannot help you. Okay, they may be willing to pay me, they may be willing to buy from me, but I have to challenge them. They're not serious enough. The side hustle is not going to work for you if you have this useless idea heard from the internet from somewhere through some of these gurus, which is like, hey man, build work 2 hours a day and build a side hustle. A side hustle is almost as excruciatingly painful as a main hustle. And when I was building my online business in my part time, I used to clock 40 to 50 hours in my part time in my online business. Okay, when I was doing it part time, right now it's my full time business. Okay, so I really call out people, and if they don't have the time, they cannot give good amount of time in the business, then I just challenge them, and if that hurts them, then they're not a sale for me, and that sale was anyway never going to happen. Okay, next. Next, you have dead spaces in the call during certain strategic points in the call. When you introduce a new idea or when you should do some future pacing, there should be some dead spaces in the call where you have given them an idea, you had your job is done, now you're going to sit back and relax, nobody's going to speak, and whoever speaks first basically loses money in a respectful way. What does that mean? That means there are certain dead spaces in the call when you've given them an idea, you've given them something to process in their mind. You don't want to fill up that dead space, because if you fill up that dead space and you go on and on, at the end they're going to say, okay, let me think about it. And they need to think about it because you didn't give them the time to think about it. Okay, so if you give them an idea or if you give them some future pacing or something like that, you want that dead space, and whoever speaks first loses money, which means if they are the ones who break that dead space and they have processed the idea, then chances are that they're gonna buy if they have a budget. Okay, so chances are they're gonna buy. That means they're gonna lose money. They're gonna get something else worth much more in value, but they're gonna pay you money. If at that point you fill up that dead space with your excitement, your energy, or you try to talk over that dead space in your excitement to make the sale, then you're going to lose money, which means you're not going to make the sale. True connection is when you can have dead spaces in conversations where the other party feels comfortable in that silence, and they are the ones who break that silence because now they feel comfortable speaking. Okay, if you look at a couple, married couple, if you see two very old friends, or if you have siblings, you can go for hours sitting in the same room without actually saying anything, and that is the proof of a close relationship. People can be in the same space, they cannot be talking, but they feel comfortable in each other's presence. Okay, so that is the mark of a close relationship. If you can establish that level of closeness or that level of comfort where nobody's saying anything and you're giving them the time to process their thoughts, and you're not invading the thoughts with your own stuff, then subconsciously you're setting up that relationship. That connection is built almost as close as if they were two spouses or two siblings or two best friends sitting in the same room. Okay, you want that level of connection. Next, you have the vehicle. What is the concept of the vehicle? Uh, During the sales call, I see a lot of these things. Salespeople are constantly adding newer and newer ideas and thoughts and talking back and forth, and it almost seems like a podcast. Okay, to and fro conversation is not a sales call. It's not a sales consultation. It's a podcast. Okay, and nobody makes money in a podcast. So the only time that you're going to speak in a sales call is when you want to get agreement from them on the one underlying principle that supports your product, and we call that a vehicle. And once you have that agreement, you're good to go for the offer. Okay, we call that a vehicle. And what happens is that at this point in time, you're not going to move forward till you demand and you get agreement. So you have to demand agreement, you have to get agreement. If you demand agreement and they bypass your question, then you don't have agreement, then you got to stop and you got to demand. So this is going to put you out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to change the way you take sales calls, and instead of being the goody Mr. or Miss Goody Two Shoes, you're going to have to be the person that holds them accountable. You're going to have to be Count or Countess Dracula. And if you do that, your prospect is going to respect you. They're going to look at you as a leader, and they're going to buy from you. Okay, so just to give you a particular example, if you are in a let's say a financial consulting business, you have to say, well, you can only get wealthy if your money works for you harder than you work for yourself, for example. That's your vehicle. And they have to say yes. Okay? They have to say, yes, I agree. If they bypass over that and they say, yeah, but come to me, I get all that, but come to me with what is your solution, or come to me with what are you proposing, then that means they bypass the vehicle. Okay? So you have to stop them there and say, can I have agreement on that? Otherwise, this conversation cannot go on further. Okay, and then they have to say, yes, I agree with you. Okay, this is how you get agreement on the vehicle, which is the one idea, the cornerstone that you're going to get agreement on, after which the sale is all downhill from there, which means easier to make the sale. Okay, if you don't get agreement, you got to stop and make sure that they get agreement. So once again on the screen over here, elicit trigger factors, challenge them, create dead spaces and let them break the silence. And number 4, get agreement on the vehicle and insist on that agreement if you haven't had it. These are the 4 ways to, the best ways to build connection. You will have to work outside your comfort zone, but I can tell you, you're going to double or triple your closing rate. So if you love this video, please subscribe and leave me a nice comment. And please keep watching these videos, because I truly want you to be a deadly master at sales, because none of these ads, none of these automations, none of this funnel building is really going to help you build your business or make great sales unless you know how to close and unless you know how to establish that connection. Okay. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.